Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Diane Spencer!
That was absolutely wonderful. Good afternoon, Auckland. Good evening, in fact. How are we all? Good? Hey! That's bloody brilliant. It's like being in a panto. I'm really glad to be here. I'm glad to be back in the classic. Thank you guys for coming to see Witch Arm and Filth. This actually used to be a strip club, which is quite nice, isn't it? You've still got a lady entertaining you on stage just with these lips. Depends how the evening goes. I'm really glad to be back as well, because I've just got back from Edinburgh, and oh, that was an exciting time, because for once in my life I looked indigenous. If a little tanned. I was there for the Edinburgh Fringe. If I had been a lesbian in a wheelchair, imagine the funding I could have got. You could probably tell I'm not a lesbian. I have a very clean chin. Sorry, sisters, power. I really enjoyed my time in Edinburgh as well because, oh gosh, they're very interactive people. Do you know what I mean? I kind of came out of my flat and I was looking, I was a little bit lost, I must admit. And this woman clapped me on the shoulder and she goes, "Are you lost?" And I went, "Yes, I'm looking for a wine shop, please." And she went, "You see that?" And she pointed to the floor where her friend was lying drunk in the gutter. And she went, "Cut her open and wring out her liver." And her friend went, "No, don't cut me open. She wants wine, not vodka." I was like, wow, that's amazing compos mentis drunkenness. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm in your country 24 hours, you've offered me a major organ. How heartfelt, it's wonderful. When people kind of realise that I'm from England, which they realise quite quickly as soon as I open my mouth, they always ask me 3 questions. They go, "So, how long have you been here? Why did you come here? And do you know what speed you were doing, madam?" And I always kind of tend to answer them the same way. I always go, "Oh, I came here because I fell in love with somebody and I've been here for 4 years and no, I'm too pissed to read." And they always tend to go, "Oh, I've been to England. I've been to England." Well, London, actually. Dirty place, England, the whole of it. Full of pigeons, England. Very built up, nothing green. I only stopped there for 3 days on our way to Amsterdam. But yeah, horrible place. That's like me saying, "Oh yeah, I've been to New Zealand." Well, Huntley, actually. Not a very forward-moving country, New Zealand. Great power station. Good place to stop and have a poo. Friendly locals, don't know, didn't get out the car. Very good at licking windows. No, I'm from a little place called Yeovil in Somerset, and the best way I can describe it is actually from a conversation I had with somebody, and the conversation went like this. "Oi, Ginger! 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 Yes? Fuck off!" So I did. Exciting times. And I do actually, obviously, you know, I miss my mum. And I've been back to visit because I went back. And when you go back, you suddenly realise things about people because you haven't seen them in, like, years. And you go back and suddenly you kind of learn these things about them. And, like, my mum constantly locks the door. Constantly, the whole time. The door must be locked. I can hear a knowing laugh that there's somebody else in here with that terrible habit. And she does, and it's because she gets all her ideas of the world through the television. But she'll fall asleep in a film and wake up in the news, and then she'll start cementing. She's kind of under the impression that just beyond Dorset, there's kind of this army of swine flu-infected paedophiles who are trying to put together a bobsledging team. That kind of thing, right? And so kind of I said, why do you always make me lock the door, you know? And she goes, you never know who could come up the drive. I can't argue with that. But then she keeps talking. Osama bin Laden could come up the drive and bomb Yeovil. I said, I don't think Osama bin Laden knows where Yeovil is. And she went, no, they've got a lot of computers at Skynet. So Mum came to visit, and I thought, right, what can we do, right? Because, you know, my mum's a tourist, and, you know, I live here. We should do something touristy. And I was like, we'll go ice skating, because everything she does at home, she does on ice. Jack Daniels, Bacardi. In our house, Sleeping Beauty on ice is basically a cocktail with a date rape drug in it, right? So I took my 60-year-old mother ice skating. Yeah, she slipped over and cracked her pelvis. Yeah, I know. But we did discover on the upside, if one of you's in a wheelchair, you can get into the aquarium for free. Especially if you make your mum out to be a vegetable. Because I don't know if anybody, because obviously the aquarium here is Kelly Tarleton's, and what they've done, if you haven't been, I suggest you go, because they've got this great big plastic tunnel, and they've put all the water on top, and with all the fish in it, and you stand on a little conveyor belt, and all the sharks look at you as you go past. It's like a sushi bar in reverse. The thing that gets me, actually, are the octopuses, because the marine biologist discovered that his crayfish were going missing. And so he put a CCTV camera in the aquarium, and they filmed at night the octopus got out of its tank, used its suckers to squidge down the tank, dragged itself across the floor, used its suckers to climb into something else's tank, ate what was in the tank, and then was back in the right tank by morning. And then the marine biologist comes in, he's like, what is up with this? Where is my crayfish? And and there's just like the octopus in there pointing at the piranha. So, yeah, I wheeled her up to the kiosk. It was quite good. I had a little sort of mummy in a little wheelchair, and I kind of wheeled her up to the kiosk. And the woman behind the kiosk, oh, she was so PC. She was lovely. She looked straight in my mum's eyes, and she thought, yep, compass mentis. Looked straight in my eyes, thought, went back down here and went, hello, 2 adult tickets, 4 Kelly Tarletons. That's $52, please. And my mum spoke, and she went, don't let the penguins bite my knees. Yeah, just take her in. It's sad when they get like that, isn't it? She's not going to remember a thing. I was like, yeah, and she smells of piss. Like most immigrants, when I got here, I lived in Mount Roskill. I like Mount Roskill. It's a great place. We have a local dish, which is curried guy wonton sashimi. And when I lived there, it came with peas and gravy. I did actually move here with somebody I was massively in love with, but I will tell you more about that later. What kind of happened was, though, I love living in a diverse place, but it can lead to misunderstandings and problems. Like, I was in the bar, and I was kind of sat down, and there was this pair of girls next to me, and they were talking, but they were talking in a language that I couldn't understand, but I knew they were talking about me. Every girl in the room. We have a thing, don't we, ladies? We know. Yes, she's nodding sagely. We know if you're talking about us, right? And they were doing that whole kind of like secret best mate language thing. They were kind of like going about, she gives blowies to tramps outside McDonald's. That? I'm like, I haven't seen you around McDonald's. Hey, do you know what my mate said? My mate said that I always go for scruffy guys. She said that, like, I always try to date dudes who look homeless. I was like, cheers, I am a hobosexual. But, like, so they're kind of talking, and then she goes, bang, like that. And I'm like, oh, you mustachioed bitch. She's showing off to her mate. I'm like, I'm going to rip that hair off your top lip. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be the Brit abroad. Do you know what I mean? I'll just keep quiet. And then she came, bang. And I'm like, oh! So I kind of turned around and I went, yeah, right, if you got a problem, I'm fucking stood here. If you want to say something, just come out with it. And she ignored me. So, yeah, I like the ooh. So I very carefully slapped her in the back of the head just to get her attention, right? And the guy chucks me out the bar. And he said to me, don't you feel guilty about what you did? I said, no, I have no problem with smacking a deaf girl. I had a thought, right, if there are two deaf girls in a forest smacking each other and there's no one else around, does it make a sound? Would anybody watch a porn film like that? And if you're a dude, right, and you shot your load into a deaf girl's ear, go with me. Is that safe sex because nothing's gone through? Fuck, you're my type of crowd. It's okay if you are a little bit worried. If you're yeah, hello. Right, it's okay. My dad's half deaf, which makes me quarter deaf. It's all good. The other thing that that I love about being here is that I actually get to do the job that I like doing, because I've always done drama all the way through my life, right? I used to teach it, which I did like. I told the kids it stood for reading and moving about. Some of them couldn't manage that. And but I can't teach it. They didn't recognise my qualification, which is kind of good because, like, I wasn't enjoying it towards the end. Like, a little girl who I taught for 4 years came up to me and goes, yeah, miss, right? Someone or nothing. We've been having a chat, and we decided if any of us had a ginger baby, we'd drown it in a sack. And you know when, like, you want to say something and you shouldn't, but you do anyway? I kind of went, wow, ironic. Now I've got to teach abortion to a bunch of people who should have had it done. Fucking took down that 15-year-old. So, yes, not allowed to do that here, weirdly enough. But I get to do acting, which is great fun, because I get to meet some very odd people, and very nice people as well, because I've just spotted a couple in the audience. And I went for this audition one day, and there was this girl sat there, and she was beautiful. And I found out she was fresh out of modelling school, right? Now, I don't know what you'd learn in modelling school. Walk, stop, turn, stop, throw up, stop. I don't know, right? And she was kind of beautiful, and I kind of sat down, and she went, I went, hi. And she went, hi, I'm Janelle the model. And I went, huh, I'm Diane the actor. And she went, are you? And I went, yeah. And she goes, why are you smiling? And I went, because I don't normally say that. Oh, so are you a model? No, I'm not a model. I'm a model. Yeah, you're a model. You're a model. You're Janelle. I'm Janelle the model. You're Janelle the model. I'm Diane the actor. Yes. And then the guy comes out and he goes, Diane and Janelle. I went, I'm Diane the actor. She went, I'm Janelle the model. And the bloke goes, it sounds like you're both models to me. Come in. And I was like, oh. And she wasn't exactly, like, dumb. She was just a little bit mental. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know when kind of... She's the kind of girl who would get stuff wrong. Like, you know when kind of a dude says to you, sperm makes your hair shiny? Am I the only one who gets told that? I know I've got shiny hair. That's cool. Right? But she's the kind of girl that if you said, yeah, if you were a dude and you went, yeah, sperm makes your hair shiny, she'd kind of like take a gobful in her mouth, run home and spit on her pet rabbit. She's that mental, right? She looks like a model, to be fair. She does look like a model. She's got this great big head with like big bouffant hair and tiny little body. She kind of looks like a lollipop that somebody sucked, put in their pocket and pulled out with fluff on top, right? And kind of, I'm stood next to him, we walk in, and the guy, he looks down and he's looking at the bit of paper, and I've gone a bit mental by now. I'm thinking, I sound stupid, just stop talking, don't talk. And he goes, Janelle, you're a model. And I go, yes! And he goes, you're Janelle. No! He goes, so you're Diane? Yes! Good. I thought, right, very, very bad start, right? Very bad start, because at that point in my life, I was going to be kicked out the country. Yeah, bad. And I desperately needed this job, if just for the money. Do you know what I mean? But I desperately needed it to actually stay in the country. So there was quite a lot riding on this, and I'd already made myself out to be a fuck nugget, right? And he goes, okay, so Janelle, you're a model, and Diane, I hear you're a comedian. And I went, yeah, kinda, sorta, tell us a joke. And my brain went, I've got one! And I was like, no! And then it was off. And I was like, okay. Menopause, menstruation, and the tampon twins walk into a bar. Menopause sits down, she takes her cardigan off. Oh no, wait, she puts the cardigan back on. Oh no, wait, she takes the cardigan off. Oh no, wait, she's got a mint in her purse. She'll get a mint out of her purse, then she'll be fine. So she goes into her purse. The tampon twins just sit there. Menstruation runs up to the bar. She's like, I need 3 Bloody Marys and I need them now. Don't think I'm an alcoholic. She takes the drinks back to the table. The tampon twins drink them all. She's like, you fucks! She goes back to the bar. Menopause, meanwhile, takes the cardigan off. Oh God, no, wait, puts the cardigan back on. I've got a Sudoku. She goes back into her handbag. She gets out the Sudoku, then she's like, oh my God, my finger's swelling up. Is it gonna rain? Menstruation at the bar. I need 3 more Bloody Marys and I need them now. I'm not fat. It wasn't me. Nobody. You remind me of my dad. And then she gets the drinks, takes them back. The tampon twins drink them all. She's like, I hate coming to the bar with you guys. You guys suck. They say nothing. Menstruation loses her rag. She runs out the bar. Menopause sits there thinking, oh, fuck. Because menopause and the tampon twins, they're the only 2 left at the bar, and the only 3 left at the bar, and they've never got on. And menopause goes, oh, I'm gonna have to build a bridge. She puts the Sudoku back, click, puts on her cardigan, and she goes, look, you 2, why don't you come back to mine and we'll watch Columbo? And the tampon twins say nothing. And menopause snaps. And she goes, I always knew you 2 were stuck-up cunts. Yay! Got there in the end. Now, I tell that joke, right? Then I remember, this is an advert for yogurt. I've been talking about tampons. I might as well have just walked in my broadest Somerset accent and just gone, yeah, so is this like the advert for like yogurt or something in heaven? Can we get on with it, please? And he goes, oh, nice. Okay. Janelle, why don't you go first? And I think, oh my God, I fucked it up. I'm going to get kicked out of the country. And my brain kind of just runs off, ashamed. And then the director, he gets out this board and he puts this board up. And then he gets a pen and he writes 2 words on the board. And he goes, right, this is what you guys have to do. Just look straight down the barrel of the camera and say these words. Can you read them? Yes, yes, good. Okay, right, Janelle, off you go. And she stands there looking bloody gorgeous. And she goes, yogurt, M. If any of you missed that, I got the job because I can pronounce The best part was when we did actually film that advert, because it's an advert and it's on TV, you have to do everything very fucking quick. We had to do it in 4 seconds. I dropped this great big splooge of like white yogurt on my black trousers because I was sat down as we were filming. Oh yeah, big old cum shot. And they said, oh, it's all right, we're just shooting you from here up, don't worry about it, just keep going. So, and when I went back home, I went up to the guy who I was dating and he goes, what happened? And I went, and then my brain went, I've got an idea. Don't tell him the truth, I've got a much better idea. And I went, I'm really sorry. A policeman pulled me over. And I didn't know what else to do because I didn't have any money. I will tell you about our breakup later. And I must say, I will mention right now, I know I said the word, I said the C word, didn't I? I said the word cunt. It's terrible. No lady has a cunt unless she married it. That usually divides a room. I think it is a terrible word, to be fair. It's a bit of a harsh sounding word, because I travel a lot on planes and things, and I read erotic novels. Yeah, don't sit next to me, it's lots of musk. And I read this one, and it was absolutely great. It kind of had all these descriptions of ladies, you know, bits, and it was very descriptive. It was wonderful. It was like pulsating lips, quivering membranes, hot throbbing wetness. I was like, fuck me, I'm gonna lock myself in the toilet and scrub the jellyfish. But then I read another one from the same publisher, and it was terrible. It was absolutely appalling. I wish I could remember the title, because then I could tell you not to buy it. And they only had 2 words. They had 2 words for a lady's lovely juicy box of love. Can you believe that? One was quim. What? That makes it sound like it smells of lavender. And like, kind of, there's only one lady who has a quim, and that's the Queen. The Queen sits on her quim and the butler starches it. I think that's all that happens there, right? And the other word was cunt. And it's like, that's a little bit bipolar for me. Do you know what I mean? That's too extreme. And it was like, I mean, it makes it sound like a paper bag. It makes it sound like somebody's walked mud in. It makes it sound like kind of the thick member of the genitalia family. It's like, oh, this is labia. Labia's doing a Masters of Architecture. This is clitoris. Clitoris is doing a Bachelor's of Law. And this is cunt. She mows lawns. Right, I wanted to tell you about, you see, the reason when I came here because I was in love with somebody, and that went, rapidly downhill. And you know when kind of you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't even want to look at them when you're doing missionary? You're kind of sort of there like this thinking, oh my God, he stinks, and he's there kind of like thinking, I'm sure I alphabetized those DVDs. That fucking bitch never puts anything back where I want it. We'd reached that point. And so we went to a sex shop to enliven things up, right? And sort of, I was like, you know, at first we kind of wandered into the costumes and kind of, he was like, ooh, French maid. I'm like, what is so sexy about onions and a baguette? I was like, can't we like be a little bit original? Can't we like go for maybe an Austrian maid? Do you know what I mean? Like, I will be Vipe clean. And you can have 20 thrusts and that'll be it. Like, really efficient. Or an American maid. I'll talk in a Mexican accent and you can shoot me in the chest. Variety. And I saw I saw 2 things that kind of worried me. Just 2. And one was a plastic vagina, and it was quite normal apart from missing the woman. Not essential. And it was in a little box. It was like a box in a box. And It had brown and grey pubic hair. I was like, how long's this thing been on the shelf? I sort of looked at it and I thought, maybe it comes with like a free cat and lots of baggage. And the other thing I saw was this, I'll never forget this. I saw this big plastic foot, it was a bit Monty Python-esque, and in the bottom was a little rubber vagina. Yeah, I know, whoever just said, oh my God, yeah, I'm totally there, right? I was like, it was called the ultimate foot job. I was like, I just kept thinking, I don't want a stone in my shoe. You know, I kept thinking like that. And it was like some weird joke that a bioengineer would play. Do you know what I mean? You may have stolen my stapler, I put a pussy in your foot. What? And kind of, I sort of looked at this, but you know when you look at something and you go, ha ha, look at that, that's really funny, bioengineer, ha 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 ha, and they go, ha 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 ha, so what do you think? And you kind of go, oh, it's just silly, it's a foot. Yeah, it's a foot. So I kind of went with, you know, like the lingerie option. And we had this massive fight, as per usual, and it was terrible. And we kind of, because we travelled to work every day together as well, so, you know, it was quite horrible. And, but one day, kind of, we came home separately, and I sort of walked in, and he was in the bedroom, and I kind of walked in quietly, and he was there like this, furiously masturbating. And I was like, well, at least his sex drive has come back. I'll just jump on relationship saved, right? I was like, I will impale myself for our relationship. And I went, darling, and he went, oh, and he turned around, and bobbing away on his still erect penis was a plastic foot vagina. His fists were clenched, he was puffing, a plastic foot. It looked like he'd had a fight with a leper and was fucking a trophy, right? I was like, is this what turns you on? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you know what I did? I did what any girl would do for the sake of my relationship. I know you would too. I took off my shoes, took off my socks, picked out the little black bits from in between my toes. Thank you, warehouse. And I let him shoot his milky bullets of love all over my feet. FYI, if you're going to do that, do not walk to the bathroom if you have wooden floors. I look like an epileptic on ice. And I'm quite good at ice skating. No, really. Honestly, I'm quite good. If anybody could have made it, it would have been me. Like, there's only one thing I won't do on the ice skating rink, and that's the splits, and I'll never do that for fear of creating some kind of suction cup effect. So this kind of carries on for a wee while, right? And then one day, this was cold, man, he comes back from the doctor, and we have a chat, because he's got a verruca on his penis. And what the doctor has very kindly christened athlete's nuts. He dumps me. Whoa, recap, what? Me, woman, with vagina and feet in the right place, right? Gets dumped for plastic foot by man who's basically suffering from genital cornflakes. I was a little bit upset, to be honest with you. And then I get this phone call from across the planet. Now, at first, it's from my mum, right? Because it was terrible. I had to move out, right? And we start talking, and my mum and we keep chatting and stuff. And, to chat, because when you live so far away, you have to, you just want to hang out and just chat shit, do you know what I mean? You don't want to always be going, I miss you so much. You don't want to do that all the time, it'll do your nut. We used to play Killzone. Does anybody else play that? The clue's in the title. It's basically this army game where you run around shooting people. And my mother likes to play it. And we play it online. I've got a little headset in Auckland. And she has a little headset in Dorset. And she likes to strategize. She goes, right, you come out of the bunker and go right and pick up the sniper rifle and position yourself behind the rock. I will go forward into the field and get the rocket launcher. Now, if those bastards come over the cliff, You pick them off with the sniper rifle. If they come around the cliff, I will pick them off with the rocket launcher. It's not exactly picking it off, is it, Mother? Are you ready? Go, go, go! Right? And so we play this wee little game. And it's great fun, but she cheats. She shoots me, and she cheats constantly. She downloaded this weapon from the internet, and then she downloaded a cheat to make it bigger. She fired it once, and I think half of Yeovil lost their broadband, right? So I thought she was just ringing me up to go, come on, get on the thing, we're going to play Killzone. I want to shoot Osama. And she rings me up and she goes, guess what? What? Your younger sister's getting married. I'm so happy for her because I know she needs a toaster. And it's like, oh my God, what can you do with that knowledge? Do you know what I mean? And like, she's marrying a guy whose surname is Lynch. As in mob. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, good. I'm really happy because that means she's found her one, you know? And it's hard to find the one. I'm going to be brave now, and you guys have to be brave as well. Could you give me a wave if you think... Right, everybody shut your eyes. Actually, everybody shut your eyes and give me a quick wave if you think you're with the one. But everybody shut your eyes. Quick wave. Okay, right, yeah, stop. Good, stop. Okay, good. The shutting the eyes was a good thing, huh? Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm joking. It was cute. They both kind of went... I could see her elbowing him. And it's cute when you find the one. Do you know what? It's really nice. I'm sure it happens to lots of people. But there are certain ways you do it. Do you know what I mean? Like you find a one because you get a dog, and then they get a dog, and then you walk into each other, and your dogs start fucking. And you go, oh, look, our dogs are fucking. We should try it. And that's the one, right? Or kind of you go to a friend's wedding, and you watch the wedding, and momentarily you see them going, I love you, and... And you sit there and gradually develop type 2 diabetes. And then while your brain is slowly dying because there's too much sugar in your system, you look across the room and you see a guy in a suit. You think, well, I'm wearing this horrible satin dress, which she's packed me into, bitch. And you think, we could be doing that. I love you, that'll work, yeah. And you go mad, and that's the one. Or equally, you order a coffee and you go, I'll have a soy cafe latte espresso 10cc BBC hot chocolate coffee in a half-pint jug with a lemonade. And you order it at the same time. And you go, oh my God, we're both difficult bastards. And that's the one. And that's nice. And it doesn't matter that he's 3 foot and she's 6'2". And it doesn't matter that, you know, he's Muslim and she's an atheist. And it doesn't matter that he wants 6 kids and she's an abortionist. It doesn't matter, right? Because that's the one. And so I'm like, yay, I've got to find the one. That becomes my plan. It's never good when that's your plan, right? Because then I start dating this stream of inappropriate men. Like, for instance, I went out with a chap who was a visual artist because I thought, well, I want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and I want to get better at drawing, right? I didn't improve no matter how much of his DNA I swallowed. I think it's called osmosis. And I really liked him, and I was like, oh, come on, I really like you, come on, let's get a tattoo. I want to get a tattoo of your face on my body, because in Yeovil, that's fucking classy. I was like, it's either that or a Smurfette. And he got this pen. I was like, draw your face on my body. Come on, you do art, just draw it. And he goes, well, where do you want it? I said, well, but don't put it somewhere where people can see it, because it might look bad. And he goes, well, I'll draw it on your bottom. And I went, all right then. And so it was just where he put it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he put it right there, and kind of when you look at it, it just looks like his face is sucking a lemon. And if I bent over, it looked like he was sucking a lemon and had a little ginger beard. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, some of you might be wondering. It's okay. I understand that. I get checked out. Does anybody go swimming at the Olympic swimming pool in Newmarket? I do. And it's communal changing. You don't get a cubicle. You have to just go, and that's it. And we must go. But like, I get checked out. Like, I had these two women, they walked past me, and like, I'm some kind of anthropological wonder. They kind of walked past and went, Pandang ging bong. I was like, no. I've worked that out, right? That is Korean for yes, the roof does match the bonnet. I thought, screw you lot. And I thought, one day I'm going to shave it all off and just glue on macaroni. It'll work until I get in the pool. So I went out with him. That went wrong. I did a bit for charity. Went out with a blind guy. He couldn't tell I was ginger. And it was interesting because kind of, it's weird. When you go out with a blind guy, you start making up your own little rules in your head. You go, well, I won't wear makeup. He can't see. I won't wear nice clothes. He can't see. I won't shave anything. He can't see. But he can feel. And we were there, and like we were making out, and I left the light on because fuck, it amused me. And I got to show you with two hands, right? We were there kind of like in the room, and this is basically the moment where kind of things started really going wrong. It was kind of like this, right? This is him, by the way. This isn't me. Ginger people, we get cross-eyed when we get horny. It's great. Di? Have you written me a poem? I told that story once at this gig, and like 20 minutes later, literally 20 minutes later, somebody at the back of the room went, "Oh my God, it was Braille!" So yeah, didn't go out with him. But then kind of my best friend, found the one, and she decided to get married. And of course, I have to fucking go. And I was like, okay, I'm coming, I'm so happy for you. And I kind of turn up, and they have these things now these days called wedding planners. They are just the most abhorrent women who just reek of cheese and broccoli vol au vent. And and I kind of went up to this woman, and she went, "Welcome to Rebecca and Jeremy's wedding, card and present." Fuck. And like, I'd been quite down, you know what I mean? And I was like, here's the card. And she went, "And present." And I thought, fuck, what do I do? Because I hadn't got her a present. How bad is that, right? I'd been that, like, kind of, I'd just been in my own miasma, right? I just couldn't help it. And I went through all these scenarios in my head about what I should say. I was kind of like, yeah, okay, well, and I built up this whole little speech. I was just staring at it, kind of like thinking, well, when she has been hungry, I have bought her kebab. When she has been insensible and drunk, I have held her hair back and bought her Woman's Day. When we went dildo shopping together when we were both single, and she bought one that had multi-speeds and lasted for a very long time. Mine was transparent, had one speed, and I think I lost it down the back of the shoe rack. And then I thought, I can't say this. This is not going to go down well. She's not going to let me in the wedding. And I thought, if I start talking to her about dildos, this woman doesn't know what a dildo is. If I showed her that, she'd think it was cork. And she goes, "Where's the present?" And I went, "Did you see the bride's moustache?" She went, "No." And I went, "That was my present." Works every time, right? So I get into the venue, which is great, and we're there in the wedding, and they go, I love you, beautiful, yeah, whatever. And then we get back, and we sit down. She's put me on the ADD table, right? Everybody on my table's got kind of issues and problems, and I'm sat next to a diabetic who seems to be able to inhale wine. And she kind of, I wanted to flick over her medical alert bracelet because I thought it might say 13% proof. And I said, oh, you're a diabetic. And she went, I'm also a black belt in Taekwondo. I was like, I don't think that's going to help. That's not how diabetes gets you. Diabetes does not wait for you round the back of Burger King and then runs off with your iPod. I can break a man's arm. I can put sugar in my tea. So she becomes my new best friend. And then finally, the buffet. And I'm like, yay! And so I kind of run up to the buffet and I'm like, oh my God, this is all beautiful. Ooh, no, smells like wedding planner. And so I keep going and it's like beautiful. But then I'm holding this plate and then suddenly this hand just put the biggest red chili I've ever seen on the plate. And I look up and there's this chap stood there and he goes, I think you should eat that. I went, young man, if I eat this, A, I'm going to lose all sensation in my mouth. I won't be able to taste a fucking thing, right? B, I am going to, digest that, and I'm going to be thinking of you. 4 hours later, when what can I have except a burning chocolate waterfall pouring out of my backside. So the next time I think of you, I'm going to have a burning arse ring. Tell me why I should eat this chili. And he goes, it'll impress me. And at that point I was like, right, truth guns. And I was like, right, I'm sorry, buddy, but A, you're short. And B, you're a 6 out of 10. Harsh, I know. But he goes, better than average. And walks off. With my little chili, kind of going, motherfucker, like this. And I walk back and I've still got the chili on my plate and I sit down and I say to my slurry, insulin-deprived friend, I kind of go, I've just had the thing with the chili. And she goes, oh my God, that's the one. That's the one. And I went, what do you mean that's the one? She goes, that's your one. I went, that's my one? That's my one? And she goes, that's your one. There it is. Where are you? Friend's wedding. I've got diabetes, that'll do. I'm like, oh my God, do you think he's my one? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. Yeah, he's my one. And I look over and I think, fuck, he's ugly, I need a drink. So I think, right, I'm gonna get really smashed and he's gonna be my one, yes. And I eat the chili, making sure that he can see to impress him. And then no, I can't fucking taste anything for the rest of the day, right? But kind of then, the DJ starts up. So the DJ starts up. I start gulping down the wine because I think, right, I've got to build myself up for this because he's fugly. And the DJ decides to cater for everybody and therefore caters for nobody. Typical wedding DJ, right? So what he does is he plays Rock Around the Clock. Great. And this sea of kind of old people, it's basically just wrinkly knees, saggy boobs and back fat. And it all kind of draws itself onto the dance floor and it all creaks and moves. Why is there always one dude who's got white hair and a white moustache? He's at every fucking wedding I've been to, right? And they're all there dancing away. And then the DJ puts on the Gorillas. You know, kind of like I'm Dirty Harry or something. Don't. And all the young people go, oh my God! And they kind of get up and they're all wearing these satin dresses, you know. They all look like sausages. And so all the little sausages kind of come onto the dance floor. And all the old people are like, I don't like this, I've got to go. And then he plays rock, what was the next one? He played something like, oh, I'm a Believer by the Monkees. So all the old people kind of go, oh, no, 360, let's go back. And all the young people are like, oh my God, this is so retro. And so they carry on going. And I think, right, this is the time I've got to go over, I've got to make out with the one. Okay. So I go over and kind of give him the old fuck eye, and and we start kind of, chatting and stuff, and then we start, having a bit of kissing and snogging. And I'm like, come on, let's get under the table. That's why they give those big tables with the big tablecloths, you might as well. And so we kind of get under the table, and then I remember, I go, oh, fuck, we're kind of fondling each other, and I think, oh my God, no, it was my time of the month, right? And he kind of reaches for my pants, and I no. And I just kind of said, you can't go down on me. Presumptuous, I know. And he goes, I wasn't gonna. And I got all a bit, I went, oi, buddy, if you finger the food, you should eat it. Ladies, take note of which of the men clapped. So kind of, we're kind of there, and he's like, fucking hell, is that macaroni? I'm like, look, let's just carry on. Keep going. This will be amusing to tell our children. What? So I decide, right, I've got to make the plunge. What? And I kind of go hands down into his pants, and we kind of fumbling around for a little bit, and then suddenly he starts screaming. Now, I am not that bad, but I did pick the pips out of the chili with my hand. And I have rubbed chili oil right down the end. His fuck eye was really out of operation then. And he tries to get up and he starts screaming and he doesn't tip over the table. He manages to pull away the fucking, the tablecloth, leaving me underneath the table, kind of like clutching at his cock, going, I don't know why he's screaming. And he kind of rows off to the toilet without me, leaving me looking like slag of the day and and rabbits. And he runs off, and I'm so plastered, I kind of stagger after him, and I'm like, look, I'm really, really sorry, right? And he's kind of in the toilet, and he's screaming about milk, and I just think, oh, this has failed, I've lost the one. I go into the ladies, and I kind of back into the toilet, pulling down my trousers. I nearly piss on the bride. And when I stand, I'm like, I'm well sorry, you fucking homo, look at you. She's like, don't call me a homo at my wedding. And then I kind of back down. You know when you're so pissed, you reach for one thing and you grab the thing next to it? Has anyone done that? Yeah, I was pissed enough to get confused between a party popper and a tampon. Oh, that wasn't a dry weave top sheet. And I discovered that as soon as I pulled the string. It's the one time in my life I've ever blown a smoke ring. I thought that's not healthy. And so I sort of went to A&E by myself. And I sat there and I swear I could smell burning hair. And this nurse comes up to me and she gives me a form, an ACC form. And she goes, just tell us how you did it. No. And I said, I'm not going to tell you how I did this because A, you're going to pin it on the fridge in the staff room. Because I would. And B, I'm not going to, tell you really what I did, am I? I'm just going to kind of try to cloak it in phrases and euphemisms so that it's a little bit unclear. And when the government read the form to check I'm not committing fraud, and they read, whilst in a Western civilization, I inserted a small explosive device in my body and detonated it in a public place. I will never be allowed to fly to Heathrow Airport again, right? So yes, it was a bit bad, and I thought, right, okay, well, I've got to cheer myself up somehow. So I did a burlesque course. Yeah, yes. Now, I know that there's a couple of people in here who did it with me, yes. Quite exciting. Now, we've always had this argument, haven't we? Because they go, we're not strippers. We're not strippers. And I go, no, of course we're not, because they get paid. We practice at Grey Lynn Community Centre. It's as erotic as it sounds. We're on after the taekwondo. I've run into my diabetic passing out. And it's great, you know, with the fluorescent lighting and the wooden floor. And kind of, we were all there in our fishnet tights and things. And we had an amateur night recently. And I must admit, one or two of the acts scared me a little. They had a certain crack whore quality. No, they did. I know that it was called amateur night, but really it should have been called fishnets and crab baskets. Our instructor, she gives us, it's great, she gives us these feather boas, but they're from the $2 shop because we all practice with them, you know. And they sort of molt a bit, and so basically you've got all these women in fishnet tights. It just looks like a bunch of prostitutes waving roadkill. It's very erotic. And at the most recent show that we did, there was this old lady, and she's lost most of her hair, and she has a hump. It's a great combo. And she did this little move, you see, where she had her feather boa, and she kind of tried to lasso it around her neck, but she missed, but she got the hump. And then she thought, it's all right, I'll go again. And she kind of threw it again, and then she kind of got stuck, and she started fighting with herself to get the boa off. And I said to my mate sat at the back, what do you think? And he goes, oh, it looks like two monks fighting over a chicken. I don't know if I can crank one off to that, really. And there was another young lady who we had to, as a group effort, pack her into her corset. Like, really. Like, we had two people either side. I was at the back with the ropes, like Whale Rider, right? Some corsets have bones, this had girders. And we packed her in, and then she stands up, she goes, I'm going to take it off for the finale. I was like, don't, darling, you are going to lose your structure, right? She did. She literally, she yanked it, poof. It was like, it looked like she'd inflated a life jacket. But you also sort of, I mean, you know, this is a whole kind of windy story. I've been chatting all night. And, but the nice thing is that you kind of, when you do these things, you sort of discover how good people are. And that's the best thing. When something terrible happens to you, you discover how good the people around you are, even if they're a little misguided. Like this lady at work, she said, now, I know you've been a bit down recently, but I know you're on the way up. I went, yes, I am. She went, I've got you a present to help you on your way up. I went, thank you. And it's a wall plaque to put on my wall. And it says, dance like nobody is watching. Now, I don't quite understand that, because the like to me implies that somebody is watching. That's basically saying you're a bit of a mental, but carry on, all right? That's not the same as saying dance like you're invisible. That would be good, because if I was invisible, I would get $50 notes and lure people into traffic. If I was invisible, I would throw cats at traffic wardens, right? If I was invisible, I would go round to my ex-boyfriend's house. I would wait. And I would wait until he had got home, had his bath, loaded up the porn on his computer, and then at the last minute, when he's doing his thing and he's about to shoot to the moon, I would drop a Bible on the keyboard. I'd then run into the kitchen and start pulling out the crockery, going, I made you people and you just sit around wanking. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I don't know what God says. He never speaks to me. But this says dance like. What? That's like saying cook like nobody's eating. Invade like nobody's shooting. Breathe like nobody farted. What? I can't live my life that way. I can't have that on my wall as a motto, but she's my friend. And plus, it looks terrible. I've done enough visual arts, right? It looks bad, right? I know, I have learned something. And I'm like, no. She's my friend. Thank you. Love you too. And then, a couple of days later, another friend comes up to me and goes, I know you've been a bit down. Yes, good, check. But I know you're on the way up. Yes, okay, good. Have you had a meeting? And then she goes, I've got you a present. It's to help you. And I open it up, and it's a wall plaque to put on my wall. And this one says, sing like nobody's listening. Dance like nobody's watching, sing like nobody's listening. I think my friends want me to entertain the blind and the deaf. And plus now, it looks like I collect these fucking things, right? I start getting messages from people I don't even know at work, okay? Kind of going, hey, Di, travel the road less travelled, Terry. I sent him a terse email. Dear Terry, no. I will not travel the road less travelled because it fucks with my wheel alignment. And I thought, what can I do? What can I do to kind of defend myself, but at the same time not offend anybody? And I also, I mean, it's nice. I do want a little motto that I can live my life by, so I made up my own one. So now, when you come into my room, you can see my 3 little mottos. And my one's made out of cardboard and newspaper. It looks like a ransom note. And now, when you read it, it simply says, dance like nobody's watching, sing like nobody's listening, pound your cunt with a dildo like you're digging for the antidote. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Diane Spencer. Thank you very much. Good night.